Very good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to Zoholics once again. I think this session is a great continuation of where Vijay left off when he finished his keynote about what's the value we bring to customers. So I'll get started with a simple trivia of sorts. All of these tools we use in everyday's life, right? So what's common across all of these? Any thoughts? But if you see, most of them are generally grossly underutilized in terms of their potential. You look at credit cards, many of us don't use their points that we accumulate really well. They have sometimes an insurance offer. So many offers that keeps coming, we don't use them. DSLR cameras is my personal favorite. So most of us use an auto mode, use very limited capability that it provides, but it has got phenomenal capability to do some outstanding pictures, professional looking pictures. Spreadsheets are again a known thing, Wi-Fi routers. So all of this is the reality of grossly underutilized utilized tools in our day-to-day life. Unfortunately, I would say the same thing is true with SaaS as well. Most of the time when we ask this question on are you getting the most value from your SaaS investments, the answer is not really. So underutilization is an universal phenomenon and SaaS tools are no exception. So during the course of the next 30 minutes, I would like to talk about our thoughts and learnings on why this underutilization happens. Just to give all of us the hope what's possible, we have some success stories of customers who actually cracked the code, used some of our tools really well and got significant value from their investments with Zoho. Then I'll go one level deeper into how this is possible using the power of our platform tools, and then the role of platform in enabling that success, and some leading thoughts, I would say, on how everyone in this room could kind of go and reflect back on the current value realization, the utilization of the tools, and what more value can this bring to your business. That's broadly the agenda for today's discussion. So as I said, the insight is organizations do invest heavily, like Vijay talked about this morning. Maybe 170 different tools are used by organizations even when their size is less than 500. And like organizations like Zoho, we use 1,000 different apps and tools. So that is definitely a problem of getting a fraction of the value than what is possible. The second other important thing is that has a direct correlation to the ROI from the investments that we make. Right? So how do we go about this? When we looked at this, there are two sides to this problem. One is the underutilization, and the other one is partial adoption. If you look at underutilization, it ranges from automation capabilities that are available within the product, analytics that every user could use, integrations available in marketplace, integrations that are possible through the power of the platform, customizations that we could do to tailor it to the business needs. But if we go one level deeper, we looked at some of the stats on what is the level of underutilization we are talking about. 70% of the SaaS products remain underutilized, and people stick to basic use cases, sometimes some level of advanced use cases, but not really the full power of the platform. CRM, all of them, in fact, were in the upwards of 60%, which was quite surprising to me as well. So it's 65% is the underutilization in the case of CRM. In projects, it is 60. The marketing automation, it goes on. Then I was looking at what could be the possible reasons for this underutilization. We kind of looked at it from two lenses. One is from a user perspective, who is not a technical person in the real sense, who's kind of been trained to some extent and they start to use it. So from a user perspective, this comes predominantly from the fact that there is an awareness gap. Okay, the awareness gap is about training them, equipping them, helping them use all the feature functionalities in the way it should be used, and then helping them get more value from the time they invest in using the tools. The second is the skill gap, which is the training part of it. So this part is something we all know. Zoho has invested a lot of resources in helping address the skill gap, and awareness gap is something, it's between the implementation partners, Zoho, and the admins in our customers to kind of make sure this awareness gap is also addressed. But when we come to the admin part, this is where it starts to get really interesting, because it's the administrators who could help customize the solution to address the exact business needs. The business needs are well understood. The business needs have to be mapped to the tools that we have. Some of them are not addressable out of the box. Therefore, there is a need to customize deeply. But the problem has always been with most of the vendors in the space that we have been observing that the tools that are available for customization is meant for pro code developers or developers with very high level of technical skills. It's meant for them, and it's not meant for people who are not exactly familiar with writing code. So I can take an example of how Zoho's Canvas is a great example. You could use a drag and drop and start to create the UI that you want. That it's complete no code. It's not even a low code. Roger talked about how you can scan an image and use that image to be able to convert it into the layout that you want. That's the power of no code, low code tools. And we have seen historically, vendors have not done justice to this, enabling and empowering the admins to be able to customize the solutions to their exact business needs. So the problem is the toolkit is not friendly enough for people to use. That's one problem. Second is the change management. Okay, we got some help from SIs or consultants, and we kind of got to implement a solution. But the businesses are as dynamic as it gets every day, and it only gets more dynamic. So how do you adapt to changing market situations? How do you adapt to changing regulatory environments? Competition is coming up with a new product, or you are changing your strategy to address in a particular way. So your workflows change, your blueprints change, your UI has to adapt. But there are concerns around the release management and the related operational challenges. So there is always this concern, should I go and keep tapping? So then that restricts them from going and using it deeply, because if I customize it deeply, every adaptation also needs to be handled carefully from a change management perspective. So these are some of the challenges that we see that kind of prevents people from going down the path of using the full power of the two. The second part that I talked about is partial adoption. Now, the moment we force fit a business process to a tool and not do it the other way, where the tool needs to be adapted to the business process, we start to get into the same problem. The second is to do with UI UX, and the third is the high learning curve. Here again, if we looked at it with one level of depth, cultural gaps are primarily driven through, people find it too much to use, and they are not trained enough. They are not incentivized enough. Incentivization, I'm talking from the way of, if I use the tool to its full potential, will it help me sell more? Will it give me the analytics that I need to be able to run my business the better way? So what's in it for me as a user when I start to use the full power of the platform or the product to be able to deliver more value for myself, and therefore I achieve my goals better, right? So the efficiency, productivity gains, all of this. The second is some level of resistance to change. And the third is lack of sponsorship. This is something, again, we keep hearing again and again, where there is some commitment from the leadership, and that doesn't flow through enough. There is not enough insistence on using standardized tools, using the laid out processes, and that kind of fizzles out the value realization part. Therefore, poor UI UX again leads to poor value. Lower levels of automation leads to poor value. All of this disincentivizes people from using the power of the platform. So if we have to really add value, we need to be able to get more customization done. And there is a big opportunity to extract more value from our investments. And I'm still talking about what most of our customers have already subscribed to. It's not about using new products and services from Zoho. It's about getting more value from the investments that have already been made. So how do we avoid this scenario? It is through tailored solutions. And tailored solutions are solutions that kind of resonate and aligned to the strategy and the market situation that all of you are facing, and how we can help address those business challenges and the requirements through solutions that are tailored to your business needs. Most of the time, this is where we think the underutilization comes from, because there is extensive customization capability available in each of our products, and most of them are powered through a low code or a no code toolkit. This low code no code toolkit kind of is the secret weapon that everyone in this room could consider using and customize the solution to their exact business needs. So most of the products that we have are beyond point products. They are actually a platform that could be used to tailor it. You can think of it like a piece of clay or a Lego block, whichever way. You should be in a position to use the power of the platform, tailor it, the solution to your exact business needs, and then get more value from those investments with Zoho. So how does it help? A twofold benefit that we see from using the power of the platform to build the solutions. Number one, it's much shorter implementation lifecycle. That's been something that we are seeing consistently. Like in India, we did a study along with IDC on the impact of slower implementation or longer implementation lead times. It has at least $1 million impact in most of the companies that we are working with in terms of the revenue impact. The second important thing from slower implementation, obviously, is it has an impact on the ROI. This is one part of the problem, which is like from the point we decide to implement a solution to taking it live. That is one phase of the value realization. The second phase is when you constantly adapt the product to a changing market scenario. And again, because it's not self-serve, because it's not easy, it's not low-code, no-code tool-based, most of the times when it comes to other vendors, we see that the tools are not changing with the change in the business environment. So self-serve is another huge advantage using the power of platform, that we can enable the admins, and which in turn can enable the business users to get more value. All of this is theory. So we want to go straight to talk about some real life examples of how customers have gotten more value. TELUS is one of the leading telephone and mobile operators out of Canada. They have been using our solutions for the past 2-3 years. 2,700 users, 4 million active subscribers for their solutions, 550 locations, a combination of B2B and B2C customers, corporate outlets, as well as private dealerships. So their goal using the power of Zoho's CRM platform was to get, number one, prioritize high-value customer prospects. Second is customize and manage campaigns, be authentic in their relationship with customers, and anticipate the customer needs, and in short, kind of be close to the customer, anticipate how they could grow and go beyond that. So the impact of this implementation, if you see, was on the customer side and the sales side. They made sure that they could do a personalized conversation starters, flexible blueprints, which is aligned to their contact strategies, and then custom UX configuration for every channel. So if it's a corporate channel, the way they address the customer requirements is different from a dealer-based channel. So they have been adapting at a UX level, depending on the channel, depending on the profile of the user, the screens, the workflows, the blueprints, etc. So, and from a data perspective, all of this led to much easier accessibility to data, and they've ensured this data is piped tightly into their other data pipelines, which then empowers their analytics and dashboards to the leadership, to the mid-management, all of this. So they kind of use the power of the platform, customize the contact strategies with their high priority prospects, ensure that channel is able to use the way they want to use the tool and get more value. So the impact, the conversion is one of the best in the industry. The customer churn is one of the lowest in the industry, and they were rated as one of the most valuable brands in Canada by Brand Finance. The second one is a very interesting story. They use the power of platform to create a completely tailored solution. So they have about, this is Cholamandalam, one of the largest financial services company in India. They are in the lending business, 10,000 users, highly complex solution, 125 plus integrations, 4,500 branches. Their goal was to build, and we call it an LOS system, which is a loan origination system, replacing the legacy system. They wanted to streamline the processes, high level of automation. For example, they should be able to scan a driver's license and get the data, and then that would be used to enrich instead of the sales guy wasting time to input all the data. They get the base data from the OCR, and then it plugs in all the data from their credit scores elsewhere, from the government records, whatever, and all of this kind of helps them crash the time invested by a salesperson in filling out those forms, or the customer to fill out those forms. Then tight integration with other legacy systems from handoff perspective, and then compliance. This is super important in any of these markets in financial services across the world. It's a highly regulated market. The compliance keep changing. They should be able to adapt all the time. So this is a quick overflow of the system. Somebody enters data, then it goes for verification, then an evaluation, a decision on to give the loan or not, at what price point, and then the contracting happens. So this solution was built from scratch on top of the platform. Once again, none of the modules were standard modules. All of them were custom modules. Again, here what we have seen is a significant improvement in user adoption, faster decision timelines. As I said, a lot of automation has been done that kind of helped them. High availability and stability, but more importantly, ability to manage change. If the regulator is asking us to have one more validation, they should be able to do that because it's on a self-serve mode. On all the tools are low code, no code. They can drag and drop, change the processes, and adhere to the regulators' requirements, and that keeps changing sometimes as early as once a month. Third is an example from Mercedes-Benz, where they wanted to have a dealer management system built on top of the platform, particularly for post-purchase service requirements for their cars. So they want to streamline the dealer's role in the journey so the customers get a unified experience irrespective of which dealer with whom the car is getting serviced. All of these solutions, if you see, are highly customized and deep. It extends beyond what is available out of the box. And the extensibility is the real power of the platform. And then interoperability with a host of systems, whether it's ERP systems, warranty systems, or whatever. So Zoho's low-code and no-code based platform has been the secret sauce for all of this. Vijay briefly talked about how we are a platform vendor with one level of specificity, which is we are a domain-specific app platform vendor. I'll go one step deeper. If you see here, there are pre-built capabilities. For example, you have the modules which are pre-built and available leads contacts. Then you have a module builder or a wizard or a portal builder. And then workflows, you have standard ones, but you can do client script and blueprints. Integrations, 1,000 plus available in marketplace, but you could build your own using the Flow or Sigma. And then AI/ML, once again, we have a lot of like 200 plus pre-built AI/ML tools, but you could also use a quick ML kind of a tool to build your own custom ML modules. In UI-wise, standard layouts, but you could use a canvas or a widget to do custom layouts. That's the part of the platform that we talked about. And then the analytics layer comes on top, right? So this is the power of the domain-specific app platform. And what is interesting is what we have done is CX is one domain. Vijay talked about some core functionals within the organization: employee management, customer management, stakeholder management, finance management. What we have done is we have built specific features out of the box plus customization tools across each of these 7 domains. And that's the power that each of you could exploit and create tailored solutions. I have given some examples here. In the interest of time, I don't want to go too deep into them. CX is one example. We have something for ITSM or from the Managed Engine division. Here again, you have pre-built modules and functionalities, but you also have the tools on a low-code, no-code basis, right? So how do we take advantage of the platform? The first thing that we all should think is we have to learn to customize and not compromise. That's something really important. So have that outlook to say what could be further digitized, what could be further customized, therefore we could get more value from that. Second thing is, if we are able to do this customization really well, it could be a powerful enabler for your business growth. And these investments could be a true facilitator in the value that we get. And the last one is very interesting. This is the composable nature of our product architecture. If you see here, there are two dimensions to this. One is the implementation timeline and the level of customization. On the left, you would see 55 plus apps of Zoho. All of this are out of the box. All you have to do is integrate and configure. This is for small businesses. It's out of the box. They could plug in and use. For mid-market and enterprise customers, it gets even more interesting. That's where the domain-specific app platforms addresses the core business functions. Plus, you could use the communication capability on the point products that are available, like forms or campaigns or marketing automation tools from the left. That could be plugged beautifully into this. And if this is not enough and you want something custom, you want to do something for the pharmaceutical industry, you want to do something for your own industry, you would be in a position to create this solution and stitch them all together because it works on SSO. All of them have APIs. That could be a beautifully tailored solution that could be built and extended. So I would close with this thought. We see it at three levels how you could get more value. The first one is really basic, which is configure the existing capabilities to your business processes, map them, use the standard integrations available in the marketplace, say for a G Suite or O365 kind of integrations to a telephony or SMS. The next is customize. That's where the low-code, no-code tools significantly adds value, and specifically for those domain-specific app platforms or CX or projects or, you should be able to use them well. Create custom UI, create custom modules, your rule-based workflows and blueprints. This would drive significant user adoption and higher value realization. And the third is where the extensibility angle comes in. Your business is unique. All our businesses are unique. All our industries are unique. Being a horizontal product vendor, it's impossible for us to create, let's say, shipping industry specific or a pharma industry specific. And that's where the extensibility comes into play. This could be deep integration into legacy systems, personalized orchestration flows, custom AI ML models. This is super interesting. You can extend the power of our QuickML kind of a tool to build a prediction engine for your customer churn, cross-sell predictions on which customers could be sold, what kind of solutions. The impact of all of this would be end-to-end process digitization, much better efficiency, and obviously a much better ROI. So, generally you've been very familiar with these two value adds from Zoho, which is shorter time to market in terms of implementation and rollout and significantly lower TCO. But these two things you could do more and get, capitalize on, which is building the tailored solutions and then managing change. I can't emphasize enough on the importance of managing change using the power of the platform. That's the agility angle. That's the competitive advantage angle. That's the adaptation of your tools to your strategy angle. I would say this is what all of us should focus on. So I will end with this slide to say a quick step that you could do is audit your current utilization, identify the potential. We will be happy to work with you on a personalized workshop to know what is your level of utilization today and what you could do more. Please reach out to your account managers today. And if you think we can be part of your QBRs, we can be, an active facilitator of adoption of your tools, we'll be super happy to participate and join. Thank you.